you the different, like there are different types of Devon. You know, you've got North Devon, which is a bit more akin to Wales, actually, especially in weather. And then you've got Mid Devon, which, you know, kind of reminds you a lot of Somerset. And then South Devon, and with some parts, reminds you of coastal France.
Man, I haven't even been to the south of France. You know, people keep telling me it's so beautiful down there. I really do need. It's on my so many places on my bucket list I want to go to. You know, but it's all about like money and time and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's always the barriers to it all. Well, unfortunately, as much as I want to talk about holidays with you guys, we have to talk about some of the news that's taking place, guys. So, welcome everyone to the Roundtable. You might have noticed that we're one person short. So, just a quick heads up: if anyone has a way of contacting Daily Blase outside of Twitter, please reach out to him, because normally I send him the stuff on via Twitter and he responds pretty quick. He hasn't been on all day, and I know he hasn't been on all day because normally he'll respond. So because he hasn't even that's where I normally send him the link for this show as well. So I know he hasn't even seen it. So if anyone has another way of contacting Darren, please reach out to him just to check that he's okay. Hopefully he's all right. It's nothing serious, or he's just generally forgotten. But we'll carry on as normal. Maybe he'll turn up during the roundtable. Yeah, we're going to carry on. Maybe he'll just turn up randomly. Maybe he won't. But let's just hope whatever reasons that he's not there, that he's okay and he's fine. That's the most important thing, you know. So hello to everyone in the chat and welcome to the roundtable here. I've got two wonderful guests here. I have one angry pagan, and of course he's very familiar with on the channel because we have every month myself and one angry pagan do the Eco Flake show. We did one, was it last week? Literally last week, wasn't it? We did one. So if you guys like talking about like listening to news about the environment and rising sea levels, green energy, all that kind of stuff.
About the German Greens.
Yep. And then we had that fabulous story, if you guys didn't know, about what was it? Carbon dioxide into energy or something, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, in China, yeah.
That was very, very fascinating. Turning carbon dioxide into energy. That's a
super
very
critical CO2. Like, I mean, I was looking at nuclear, different types of nuclear fission, and there was one from Canada. I was like, oh, okay, I'd like to see that over here. It's safer and the less waste out of it as well. So I'd like to see that.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll touch more on eco stuff on our next show. In just for reference, on Thursday the 16th of April. So that's a couple of weeks time there. But one other a show I've done with another person was Reform Watch, which I've kind of been I really do actually have been liking the roasting we've been doing on Reform UK, and we got another show coming up. I think it's next month. Have we got next month, the end of April, another Reform Talk show to rant and rave about as well. And of course, he has his own fabulous work, 5 reasons why Tommy Robinson is a twat, 5 reasons why Richard Tice is a twat, 55,000 reasons why Margaret Thatcher is a twat, and so many more. So, of course, it is power to the people's own GRAEMEPRYCE as well. Graham, it's good to have you on here. How are you doing, by the way, as well? Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Can't complain. I'm a bit happier now that the sun's out.
Yes. That's something we all like talking about non-stop is the weather. But unfortunately, I know the chat is not eager to talk about the weather because we talk about it all the time with our friends and family and loved ones all the time.
I love talking about weather down here.
Yeah. Well, it is lovely weather, to be fair. Unfortunately, weather is not something that's a factor when it comes to what's happening in the Middle East, of course. So it's been a few weeks now, of course, since Israel and the United States of America launched their attack on Iran, and I want to be clear with the context here. It is not Iran who struck first. It is Israel and the United States who struck first. And Iran, whether you like their regime or against their regime, whatever your principles. Of course, most of us here pretty much are against the regime because of the way they've treated protesters in the country and people. The theocracy, thank you. Have been absolutely disgusting the way they treat some of their citizens. Be that as it may, does not give Israel and the United States the right to do what they're doing. There was recently who is it? It's a very special guy that resigned recently. I can't remember his name. Something Kent.
The counter-terrorism dude.
Yes, someone put his name in the chat. Who resigned, and basically he is a staunch MAGA supporter, and he basically said he's a big Trump guy. You know, he's proper MAGA, one of those. Barry Kent says counter Kev, thank you. And he basically said, like, there's no evidence that Iran was a threat to America. Now, is there evidence that Iran was a threat to Israel? Yes, there probably was, but a threat to America, that's a different story.
I do want to just say, Barry Kent does seem a bit of one of those JQers as well, as in.
Oh yeah, he's close links with the Proud Boys, you know, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
this guy, he's talking like, it's good to hear someone in America talk against Israel. However, he's doing it from the complete wrong context. Like he's doing it because he hates Jews. So we do have to keep that one in mind.
Yes, we do have to keep that in mind. I'm just letting you guys know as well. Not that I'm sure anyone was, but the price for oil right now, this is just, I'm looking at the live chart right now. It is currently $94. Went as high as 100. Some said it was 108. This live chart I'm looking at didn't say that, but it went as high. But this chart said it went as high as $102.
It might have been a one-time event. Like if you were to look at find a more detailed map where it showed various points, rather than just your typical up and down graph. If you showed this a correlation graph, for example, you might see the 108 figure as a single point.
Well, if I set it to 1 week, it actually spikes as high as 115, but I don't think that's credible.
It could be that, like, when you zoom out, what you're seeing is more of an average. Then when you zoom in, you're seeing a single point event.
Yeah. Well, the one I'm using, I wish I knew the one that Vosh was using, because I would use the one that he's using. But because, like, when you type it in on Google should actually just bring it up, but for some reason it doesn't on there whenever I type it. I don't know why, which is a bit annoying. But anywho, I'm also looking at the live feed for you guys of what's happening in the Iran war here. So it says, just updated now, Israel attacks displaced more than 1 million people in Lebanon. So at least over 1 million people have been registered as displaced in Lebanon. That's just come through, which is absolute travesty there. There was also another thing I saw literally today as well, which I want to get your thoughts on. And I literally saw the footage. There was a British journalist. I don't know what news outlet he was speaking to or whatnot. And basically a missile was inches away from killing him. He suffered shrapnel wounds, but he was all right. He literally, I didn't get a chance to finish watching his video because he spoke later on after he tended to his wounds. But essentially, the context is basically Israel were trying to silence him. Essentially, is what he was basically saying there.
This war is, we can gather from various sources at this point that America didn't actually plan for this. This was Israel's plan to do this, and America went, "Oh shit, we can't be shown up by Israel," and decided to join in. But what gets me is that I've seen stuff where Netanyahu is genuinely talking about wanting to instate a greater Israel, which means taking over pretty much all of Lebanon, a good portion of Syria, a tiny bit of the southern bit of Turkey, the Sinai Peninsula, part of Egypt, and a good portion of Jordan, which would be taken, and then a large portion of Saudi Arabia. I'm far from anti-Jewish, right? I'm not an anti-Semite, but this is why I'm not for the state of Israel. I don't like Iran's government because it's a theocracy. I don't like Israel's government because it's also a theocracy.
Graham, what do you make of the current situation in Iran, to the best of your knowledge?
It's amazing what Trump will get up to in order to hide the Epstein files, isn't it? I think that was the start of it, and I agree that it's clearly he's just doing what he's told by Israel as well, though it's really obvious. But this, did you read about this tweet that he put out last night, where Israel started doing things that Trump's even getting angry about now, and he's just wildly rambling every time he's interviewed by anybody, or getting angry with people asking really reasonable questions about things. So it's having a terrible effect on America. And his approval ratings are as low as they've ever been.
I should also just say that Netanyahu stated 30 minutes ago that Israel won't hit Iran's main gas fields again after Trump's call. With regards to that, so
don't do it again.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's like toddlers have got hold of the levers of power and decided to start playing.
2 days later, we're going to hear that fucking Israel's done it again.
Probably.
Oh, it was a default missile. It was a default missile. Yes, and Al Jazeera got the live footage of the reporter who nearly got hit. That's it. He was on he was on Russia Today, of all outlets. It's a British journalist, by the way. British journalist, apparently.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Now, part of me is a little less sympathetic.
You know.
Well, you know, I don't. You don't.
I'm not so sympathy. I'm not.
We don't wish death upon anyone. In all seriousness,
he was on Russia Today. It's like if George Galloway had nearly been hit. I'm sympathetic, but not quite as sympathetic as I could have been. You know? Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously one of the main situations we have right now is the Strait of Hormuz. It's not technically closed. It's only closed to the United States, to Israel, and its allies, essentially. Nations that such as China, or with permission if you have permission from Iran, you can pass through the strait. If you get direct permission from Iran, you can pass through the strait without getting any fire whatsoever put upon you by Iran. It seems also Iran are still able to do their own shipments out of the Strait of Hormuz as well. So it's really a case of a lot of Western nations that are being denied access to the Strait of Hormuz, which comes to something me and Pagan touched on a couple of hours, about an hour or so ago. That was a statement was put out by the leaders of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Japan, and the United Kingdom have condemned in strongest terms Iranian attacks on unarmed commercial vehicles, civilian infrastructure, including oil and gas installations, and a de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So in a joint statement, they called on Iran to cease its threats and attempts to block the strait, saying freedom of navigation is a fundamental principle of international law there. The thing is that before I bring you guys into it, I kind of was expecting a couple more nations to be in that. 7 doesn't sound like a lot. I don't know. Maybe it could have been. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it just feels like please open the strait rather than kind of well, it's kind of like a plea to Iran rather than it's maybe you should talk to Israel instead of talking to Iran. You know.
Yeah, but they know, like we do, that Israel are going to ignore them.
Yeah,
and we know that Israel, that Netanyahu government can't fucking stand Starmer and his government because they got rid of the ambassadors from Starmer's government. They just as soon as Starmer showed any kind of lukewarm resistance to Israel, Like they were like, no, we hate you now. So it's like, well, like whether or not there are Israeli students, and I know there are Israeli students in Labour, I don't think that I don't actually think Starmer is one of them.
No,
he just doesn't want to come across.
I'm not so sure about Wes Streeton though.
No, well, see, but we're not so sure about Wes Streeton and a lot of things, aren't we? So,
exactly.
But Starmer himself, I think, is again. This comes down to him being somewhat naive when it comes to his support for Israel.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to come across as anti-Semitic, and whereas most of us would consider the word Zionist to mean someone who is vehemently on the side of Israel and wants there to be a greater Israel and to build the third temple and all that bollocks. Like Starmer's not one of them. He said what he said because he thinks that like Israel exists. We shouldn't just go around saying like you should no longer exist. It's not like we're saying that Iran shouldn't exist. We just don't want the theocracy to exist.
Exactly.
We should be saying the same thing about Israel, to be honest. But like Starmer, I think has been, as I said to you, Reagan, before this started, I actually think that this does show that it is a good sign that Starmer does want to move in tandem with other European nations and Canada.
Yeah, I think just before I bring you're on this, I think Keir Starmer has, I mean, with the exception of Gaza, I think in terms of foreign policy, he's done okay there. Obviously, people have disagreements about the domestic policies as there, but Graham, what do you make of how Keir Starmer has kind of handled this since it began, in your honest opinion?
I think he's done quite well, to be honest. I shared a video that I saw that he put out that was just literally him sat talking to camera, explaining what he was doing and why he was doing it. And I was like, he needs to make stuff like that more often because it seemed quite impactful. That's something we think that Labour do need to do more. But I agree that I've always thought his foreign policy is quite good, and he does seem to be interested in taking us more towards
with the exception of Gaza. Of
course. But he does seem to be more interested in taking us towards Europe. And I don't think that's just as a result of Trump being elected. I think he would have done that anyway. So I think that's a good thing. But like you say, it's domestic policies and his communications and the way he lets the media dictate what we talk about is at home is awful. But I think he's doing quite well with it so far. Time will tell.
I think either way, Keir Starmer is in a tightrope anyway. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, like, I would rather have Keir Starmer in this situation than getting Kemi Baganotte or Ed Davey, even Ed Davey, guys, come on. I do think it's very difficult for him. And yes, he is on a knife edge, obviously, and the knives are out to get him in the Labour Party because he is on borrowed time because the polls are not so far. I was kind of thinking, since how Keir Starmer had responded, I was kind of expecting maybe a bit of a bounce back for Labour a little bit.
It's weird, right?
But it didn't happen.
With his position,
it didn't happen at all.
They agree with his position. But because he's so poisoned politically, they think that he's automatically not doing as good as he could be on the Iran stuff, right? I personally think he's doing as well as he could, given the situation that Britain, that the United Kingdom is in. I think Starmer is doing the best that he's possible. Oh, sorry, just counter Kev. Look, I did say Israel has tentacles in there. I did say that there are people in Labour who are pro-Israel. I just don't think that Starmer is ideologically pro-Israel. I don't think Starmer is ideologically anything apart from being wanting more investment into the UK public services. Beyond that, I don't know what his ideology is. Which, to be fair, is leftist.
Yeah,
I will say, obviously, I covered it on the Good Morning Show here on this morning that Cyprus are pretty mad about the fact that the US are using the RAF base to bomb Iran, and it basically paints a massive target on the island and all the Cyprus people, respectfully there.
Cyprus, but the Cypriots also were pissed off that they weren't being defended. It's like, what? See, this is where I have no. This is what I said to you before. I have an argument with people who are anti-war and also misunderstand war. It's one thing to. I'm anti-war. I'm not a big fan of war, right? But like, despite the fact that my main interest is in evolution and other stuff, my mum brought me up to learn about the wars so that I would know from the past. And defensive strikes are a legitimate thing, like they are. Now
they are, but as you know, that one of the big. I wonder. I just want to throw this in there before you carry on. I do wonder, would people's position change at all if Keir Starmer had not allowed the US to use their UK bases in the Middle East?
I don't think. No, I don't think that they would have changed. I think. I mean, despite the fact I think he's doing as good as he is, I still think Starmer should go. Like I said to you before the election that my metric for Labour was that I want them, like, so as long as we get 40 to 60% of what we got of what I won't be too unhappy. And 3 months into this 2026, to be fair, I've so far seen about 40 to 60% of what I wanted. The biggest thing that I wanted was to do the environment, and I've had most of what I wanted on that, especially when it came to the badger vaccination program. They did exactly what I wanted when it came to that. Workers' rights, renters' rights. That is leftist stuff. It's not far left stuff, but it is leftist stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't take people saying that this Labour government is as right-wing as Blair's was, because actually they've done more nationalisation than we've seen in 40-odd years. Since before Thatcher.
One of the stories I've heard around is that there's a possibility Keir Starmer could, regardless of whatever happens at any of the elections, Keir Starmer may be still kept in place because of the conflict in the Middle East, because he's the base pair of hands. But the other thing is as well, which was brought up as well, which I've heard is that people who obviously want to see Keir Starmer go, they're not all fully. There's not like a clear candidate. Some people want Angela Rayner. Some people want Wes Streeting. Some people want. Not everyone's
the
kind of.
Party,
there is a bit of division about who should be the main candidate.
Within like you got. I had to explain this because I was in the Labour Party. My mum was like, "Oh, they're going to choose someone who's going to be more like liked by the public as a whole," and I'm like, "No, they're not. This is purely picked by the members and the MPs, right? And by far, and I mean by far, Rayner has the largest amount of support. I do not think that Wes Streeting has a chance at becoming leader at this point. I think Rayner, as much as I wouldn't want to see a coronation, especially in the Labour Party, it might be what's best to keep things as stable as possible.
I think you're right about it being the most likely, but I also think it would be quite a bad thing because she's very easy for the right wing to attack.
I think every single person, it does. I don't think it's going to matter who you pick to be Labour leader next. They're gonna hound them because it's a Labour leader.
They are going to hound Rayner. The way the Mail have been treating Rayner, especially, been really violent.
Yeah, but
there's more ammunition
there is that Rayner wouldn't have made it to the position she has. I mean, you've got to think the path that she took as well. She came up through the trade unions, which have historically been sexist. Yeah. Like we on the left are proud of the unions, but we have to acknowledge that one of the historic issues with especially the UK unions was they were horrifically racist and sexist.
Yes.
right? Look at the point that Raina's got to. I know they're less sexist and racist than they were, but like, considering that she came up through the trade unions, I think she can manage that. I think she'd be able to deal with our media a lot better than Starmer has.
I just don't know whether or not she's going to get enough support to be pushed to the front of the queue.
In the party, she's got the most support.
My other concern is that because of how Keir Starmer was put in and what they did to people on the what they did with the so-called purge, I'm worried they might try and do that again to Rayner. Because there are many people at the top of that Labour cabinet and around Starmer who do not want to see Rayner taking the
it won't be down to them. No, it won't be down to them. That's not how the Labour Party works. It won't be down to them. The vote is from the Labour, is from the members and the MPs. And Rayner, I'm telling you, Rayner has the largest amount of support. Wes Streeton's not beating that. He's just not.
Well, obviously, there's a lot.
I would be extraordinarily surprised if Wes Streeton beat her.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Wes Streeton beats Anthony Rayner.
Like, I know, because whilst I'm not in the Labour Party anymore, I have a lot of friends who are, because I'm from a city that is strongly Labour, Exeter, right? And historically strongly Labour. And the biggest amount of support within the party is for her. It's for Rayner. Like, she is the clear runaway. Like, is there someone who is a clear, safe bet to be a good prime minister? No, I'll agree with that one. However, is there a clear bet to who is likely to be the next leader? Yes.
I think there's somebody waiting in the wings that'll come out in 2028 when he ceases to be the mayor of Manchester.
Burnham was told.
I think that's who the next leader.
There's an opening for him in 2027. That was the official line from the Labour Party. Like, finish your term, and then in 2027 there will be an opening for you. This is something that has not been. This is something that has been completely missed out by the media.
Well,
maybe
that's
like Andy Burnham, because they think he'd be harder to take down, and in marketing.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like, he would, but as of right now, he can't run to be leader, right? So, of the people who are likely to challenge Starmer in before the next election, is going to be Rayner.
Where does 2027 come from? Is there it's likely to be a by-election in 27 that he could then go into?
But more than likely, again, the official line that I've heard from Labour was that, like, he has, like, to finish your term as mayor, which I actually agree with. I actually do agree with that one point.
Yeah, finish your term.
I agree with the point of finish your term, right?
Yeah.
And then we can bring you in 2027, 2028. I've heard 2027, but whether it's 27 or 28, I don't think it's given that extra detail that was completely missed out by the media. I actually don't think it's as contentious as people thought it was. I do think it's still, it's obviously contentious, but then again, Labour's comms and actually telling people exactly what it's doing is completely fucking shite.
Exactly.
Just one last thing, obviously, on Labour, because I will touch on some of the other parties so far. You did bring up, obviously, Keir Starmer doing that YouTube video. And the one thing I will say is that, like, while he did answer questions, he wasn't answering, like, specific comments from people. And I think if you were to do that, not just basic questions, because they were all basic questions, if you were to, like, actually pull up someone's general question, and obviously you need to check them before you give them to them.
Yeah.
If you actually did something like that, that would seem a lot more genuine, as opposed to
It still wasn't great. The arty shots and things, there was just no need for it. It was still a little. They're getting there though. It was closer to what I think we want to see.
It was. It's a step in the right direction in terms of their communication.
I think they're getting better iteratively when it comes to the comms. Like, I have actually seen when people, because for ages people have been saying to me like, how do we know that these best start centers are coming out now? I have been seeing adverts on YouTube almost constantly about the best start centers. Right? I know they are starting up because Puninator, another chatter from Politics Social and different bias stuff, he's actually working on in his area on setting up his local best start, and I've seen my one starting up. So like that, but I'm seeing a lot more messaging from the government via YouTube, and I think that's a wicked idea. I think they've finally gone to the fact that YouTube is actually one of the most useful ways to get communication out, and I do think quite a few of their adverts have been good.
Yeah, and I've heard adverts on Spotify for the new NHS centres that they're opening up as well. That was a good thing. I was quite impressed when I heard that. There'd be a lot of people hearing that.
Yeah. Just before we touch on some other parties, guys, for those who are wondering where Darren is, the answer is I don't know. I have reached out to him this morning to check he's all good, and he didn't respond. I did leave him the link. So if he hasn't seen the messages I sent him this morning, so I don't know where he is, but because he's normally on Twitter, he's on Twitter quite regularly because he gets a lot of content for Friday Frolics. So cross fingers, it's nothing serious and that he's okay, because that's the most important thing there. So if people are wondering where he is, my honest answer is I don't know. Most important thing is as long as he's okay and he's nothing serious and he's all right, that's the most important thing. Obviously, if that's, I just want to just make that very clear. So cross fingers, he'll appear tomorrow on Friday Frolics, and it'll be a case of I just generally forgot, which is, it happens. We do forget things. So it's nothing in personal or intentional from him, I'm sure, in case anyone's wondering. Guys, how's the Conservatives doing? I feel like Kemi Badenoch is trying. She's trying, but it's just like it's not sticking like glue. Because the thing is, like, I think she really shot herself. She and her party really shot herself in the foot when they backed the war and backed Donald Trump, and then they U-turned on it, like reform. And we'll get to reform in a moment. But the Conservatives haven't exactly painted themselves very well, because as a party that wanted to back the conflict, and knowing basically what we know now with regards to not just obviously the fact that British lives are at risk and whatnot. But it's actually affecting the cost of living, which is what people are really concerned about. There,
they just. She does not know, I think, what she wants to do. Like, she doesn't have. She wants to have an adaptive approach. Unfortunately, unfortunately, because her default position was to be on the side of Trump, right? Yeah. Having an adaptive approach isn't useful for her. Like, if she was a bit more neutral on Trump, then it would work for her. But she hasn't been neutral on Trump, so it was really weird to hear her say that Trump is acting childish. Like, hearing her say those exact words from her sounded, from Ed Davey or anyone else, would have sounded great, but like,
thank you for that comment, Richard. Jeremy Hunt was on telly trying to say the government should spend more on defense, but forgetting who slashed spending in the first place. Yeah, this is the problem. Like, they can't say anything because
you haven't got any room to talk about anything, have they?
No, and it's just, it's really infuriating for me, because it's like even though, like, in this kind of crisis right now, this Middle Eastern crisis, it's time where, yes, there are politics and there's political differences and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to like the security of the nation and all that kind of stuff, what Keir Starmer says, there really needs to be more unity on something as serious as this. And it's like, you know, obviously reform will be in their corner because that's where they belong. But the Conservatives really should, like, they're still showing their pettiness over something that's actually going to cost lives, cost money, cost so much, and so on so many levels. And it's just like, can you just put your differences aside for something as serious as this? Like, because when it came to the pandemic, you know, Labour said they would support the government in the best ways possible, all that kind of stuff coming together, because in that kind of crisis, you need unity in Parliament, from all sides of politicians. And that's what we needed for this, because this is not something we wanted to be a part of. This is not something we wanted to be involved in. And instead, Kemi went, oh, because Keir Starmer's taking this position, I'm going to take this position, as opposed to we need to support the government because this is the right decision.
Yeah. I think with Kemi Badenoch, what's obvious with her is that every time something happens, she doesn't look at it and think, what's the best way I can react to this to make it better? She looks at it and thinks, how can I use this to oppose Keir Starmer? And that seems to come before anything. And I you know, I used to say this when Labour were in a position and people would say things like that, and I'd say, well, it's the job to oppose, but you don't just oppose because it's like your ideology. You're supposed to do it for the right reasons. And she never seems to. Well, she does occasionally, maybe. Very, very rarely, I agree with her. But most of the time, she seems to just do things to score points. It just seems to be all a big political game. So, and she's not very good. She's been an MP for a long time. She should be better at it by now. And she's clearly not capable of ever being the Prime Minister.
No, I can't ever. I just feel like she's out of her depth.
Yeah.
I just think she's out of her depth because she doesn't come across as someone who has, like, there are one or two times where she's like, where she's in agreement, but it's very rare. It's when she has no choice but to agree with a government's position, because if they disagreed, it would make them look really, really bad. But most of the time, it's always a case of we've got to be opposite to Keir Starmer, no matter what.
Don't
forget that feels like what the line is of the Conservatives, and that's such a big problem for them.
A lot of the Tories that are in now, one thing we have to think about now is that a lot of the Tories that are there now, like, aren't just from the last election, but they're from the Tories period in government, right? Kemi Badenoch didn't come in 2010. She was like 2015 or something.
It was around 2015 she got, right?
So
got it.
She's come in whilst the Tories are still in power, and so she's in opposition. She's still got that arrogance of when she was in government, of going, look, like, we're government, we don't have to fucking listen to you, right?
Yeah.
This is where Phil from A Different Bias, he'll talk about how the Tories really need to go through a period of introspection, like they did after the loss in 1997, right, where they went through several leaders before, and a lot of introspection before they felt ready to challenge again. And she just doesn't. But Kemi Badenoch just doesn't get it. She just doesn't understand, because she came in when they were still in power.
Something I will say about Kemi Badenoch as well, and I might have said this before, I don't want to repeat myself, but when I've made 5 Reasons videos about various characters, some of them, when I do my research for them, I'm a lot more disgusted than others. And it was only really her and Ian Duncan Smith that, when I read about them, they were much, much worse people than I ever imagined they were. She's an absolute monster, Kemi Badenoch. She really is a horrible person.
Well, is that when she hacked into another politician's laptop, was it, or something
like
that?
Anybody.
Yeah.
She accuses Labour politicians and Green politicians and Lib Dem politicians and SNP.
She's got no respect for anybody.
She accuses progressives and liberal politicians of being, and when I say liberal, I don't mean Lib Dems, I mean socially liberal politicians.
Yeah.
So, like, she accuses them of student politics
Mm.
when her whole thing is being a student. Like it's like she's still in university.
Yeah.
You
Well,
watch her at P&Q.
Well, she claims she's working class because she worked in McDonald's, didn't she?
Like, she is so out of touch. It's unreal. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Starmer is more in touch with what the working class person actually knows than what Kevin Badenoch. Kevin Badenoch.
I think yeah, we could all agree with that. With Kemi, well, in relation, if you compare Starmer to Kemi, really, there. I mean, I did think that you know, both of them, like Keir Starmer didn't really have an answer to the Peter Mandelson questions, at Prime Minister's questions, while Kemi didn't also was put under pressure with regards to, well, your shadow Justice Secretary, you know, said things about Muslims praying in public, which is where we switched from not just the Conservatives, but to Reform, because for those who haven't seen the story, Nigel Farage has was condemned over a call to ban public prayers for Muslims in the UK. He's literally come out and said this. Let me give you the exact quote here. So he was asked by a reporter if he would like to see such events banned in the future, public prayer and whatnot. This is what Nigel Farage actually said. We wouldn't want to stop individuals praying, but mass prayer is banned in many Muslim countries in the Middle East itself. So yes, we have to stop this kind of mass demonstration, provocative demonstration in historic British sites, end quote. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Like, what is the, like, do we do this with any other religion? Like, am I seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we ever have a problem with, you know, Christians praying in a church, or, you know, any other religions? Because we're a multiculturalism country, do we have a problem with any others? No, it's just Muslims. And this is once again the, like, there's no, I just don't know what to say to this, apart from this is just blatant racism and discrimination. Go on.
Pagans have experienced that in modern history. The whole devil scare wasn't just in America, it happened here. And it's one of the reasons why when pagans started to come out, all of a sudden we started seeing them like come back into themselves again, and only recently start feeling freer again, is because, you know, we would be going out into the woods to have our rituals, and people would start calling us devil worshippers. So actually, one group in this country actually has experienced that as well, and that is us pagans.
I should just, just seen this part of the piece I'm looking at here. The former First Minister, SNP Hama Yusuf, said Nigel Farage seems to have no issue with Christian prayers, Hanukkah, Diwali, all being celebrated in Trafalgar Square. He only has a problem with Muslim praying. There's a word for that: bigotry.
No. Well, that's it, isn't it? He hasn't said it because he probably doesn't really care, but he knows that saying it will make millions of people really angry.
Exactly. It's a tool of his propaganda.
Yes. Yeah. And he's trying to distract from this story about him being found on Cameo, talking all sorts of nonsense about stupid things and saying far-right things, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's trying to get himself in the news for a different reason than that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also, I don't know if Lee Anderson might be under investigation for doing a potential cameo on Parliament's and Parliament grounds as well. I don't know how obviously it's early days for it to see more into that, whether there's going to be anything for that. What kind of pissed me off more than anything, because I shared the clip yesterday on live stream. What kind of pissed me off more than anything was at the end of the clip, he basically said because it was a Valentine's message from a husband to a wife or something, and at the end he said, "Go on, get back in the kitchen." And I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like happy, and then says Happy Valentine's Day, and I'm like,
he said
"Wow."
That to my mum would have fucking slapped him.
I was just like, wow, you're such an arsehole. Like, seriously. Like, it's just absolutely like out of this world. Thank you for that super chat, Steve, and for the very generous 20 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Martin, for your earlier super chat as well. Sorry I didn't get a chance to acknowledge them. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is just like, I thought it was insane that that a Conservative cabinet minister says it, but now Nigel Farage says all of them should be banned, and it's just like, well, I'm just like thinking, like, and Keir Starmer said in PMQs, it won't be long before that guy's up there with the rest of the reform lot there.
He's got so much ammunition, Starmer, against the Tories. It's unreal.
He does, but he's also doing some unforced errors as well. To be fair, as well.
Obviously, but like, I would, I expected this from Starmer. I expected mistakes from Starmer because I knew that he was politically naive. I didn't know he was this politically naive. Don't get me wrong, but I did know that he wasn't a political animal from the beginning. I went into this with clear eye.
So, you might change now. McSweeney's gone though. You know, give it a bit more time.
Yeah, well, at the moment that the polls aren't changing. I don't see a change too much in the polls. Obviously, we have to factor in the war in Iran as well. That's a factor in, not just what's happening domestically as well.
I suspect later, as the year goes on as well, more of Labour's policies will come online as they have been. More effect will actually be seen. Again, my mum and her friends have already been talking to me about the best start centres that are popping up, that are being set up and popping up. So, like, even though Labour's comms are shit, people are noticing at least. So, the child cap, people were saying that should have been like that's not a good thing. That's just something they should have done anyway. I'm sorry, but no, fuck off. Like, the fact that they did do it has had people who are apolitical coming to me telling me that was really good. What the Labour government did, that's really good. So I'm like, I'm wondering if these polls aren't being voted on by people who are politically engaged and voters, and not just apolitical and voters. Because a lot of the people who I've spoken to about this, who are apolitical but do actually vote, have had more good things to say about this Labour government than you think when you look at the polls. So I actually don't know what to make of the polls, especially at this point in the Parliament.
Thank you, Damon, again, for the £2 super chat. David, I'd like to have you on for the next roundtable, my friend. I will message you the date after the show if you are available, my friend. If you were here at the start, I probably would have pulled you in for this roundtable just because Darren is not available, I'm afraid. So at the moment, but thank you for the £2 super chat. Just going back to reform. So they do seem to be getting a little bit shaky with the polling numbers. They still have a strong lead. The polls are still in their favour. There are still a lot of people out there who are feeling disgruntled and whatnot with Labour. There are some, maybe. I think there are some people who are turning from. I generally think there are some people who are turning from Reform to the Greens because some of their policies are a bit more down to earth there. But like right now, there's still a lot of time between now and all these elections. So we've got very important elections in Wales, very important elections in Scotland. Now, of course, we've got the local elections in England as well. Are we still expecting Reform to do well in all of these coming up?
I see. I think I said to you before, I wonder how well they will do, considering how
we keep getting told that, we keep getting told that they're going to win everything, but every time there's a by-election and they stand, they fail.
Yeah, like how many by-elections and special elections have there been for council elections have there had to be because the Reform councillors have stepped down or they've resigned because it wasn't what they fucking thought it was.
I was looking at numbers the other day.
I've been hearing a lot more bad stuff about, like, locally on the ground. I actually hear more bad stuff about reform than I hear good.
I do as well. Yeah, I was looking at numbers the other day, and from what I could gather, at one level of the council jobs that these people will have been elected into last May, they've lost over 50, but they've only won 11 since. So they actually have lost, and they've lost councillors over the time.
I think they've hit the ceiling of their support. I think, like, whilst they rose quick, and they've stayed high for quite a while.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to get any higher.
They've been drifting down for a little while now.
I don't think reform can actually get more support at this point.
No, I think they've peaked.
You guys voting intention. If a general election is held tomorrow, which party would you vote for? They've got currently right now reform at 25%. This is not a very good graph.
I think that was as high as 31 at one point.
It was as high as 31. That's definitely true.
Yeah,
it's not very clear. This thing is not very good. It's not giving me the rest. What if I click a certain party? Would it tell me?
But then what I was looking at a couple of days ago, it said that support for the Conservatives had gone up as well, and I thought that doesn't seem normal, does it? So I think a lot of it comes down to who they ask.
I think that makes sense because there are Tories who, whilst they are despairing of Kemi Badenoch, they thought they would, they thought that, like,
there's a drift.
The reform might not be as lunatic as people are saying they are, only to find out that yes, they are that lunatic, and so are drifting back to the Tories. I actually think Lib Dems might do better than people expect.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott Hayes, for that super chat. Sorry, I'm just okay. I've just figured out how this all works. So let me give you guys the numbers. So back in late September, October time, there was high as 29% according to YouGov here. Then they've dipped down. They've dipped down till 20. They've remained at around 26, 24, 25, 26% for pretty much all the way into the new year. Then they had a peak period in mid-February at 27%, and then they've dropped back down to 25%. That's reform. The Green Party are currently sitting on 19% according to YouGov. And remember, this just for reference for people wondering what this is on. This is on voting intentions. If a general election was held tomorrow, what party would they vote for? Just for reference here. So that the Greens are on 19%. The Conservatives are sitting on 17%. They've kind of been the same level. They've been kind of level for quite a long period. And then at the end of around November, they actually went up by a couple of percentages. They even went as high as 20% in January this year. And then Kemi obviously done something stupid because she went from 20% all the way back down to 18%. And then he dipped as low as no, this is in February. And then they dipped as low as 16%. I don't this is, and then it went back up to 17, up to 19, then 17. So it's a bit of a jump there. The Labour government have been from January last year till now 20, 23, 22, 23, 24, 22, 21%, in going into October last year, dropping as 19%, staying at 19%, and then in the new year they dropped to 17%. Then there was a slight increase in the new year going into February. They went as high as 21%. Then it was steady again, and then it dipped again, and they're sitting at 17%. Let me just give the Lib Dems just for context there for people. And Lib Dems, nothing has changed for them because they're Lib Dems. They're sitting at 14%. They have slightly gone up and down, but they can't be bothered to do anything different. So they just sit at 14, 15%. They've literally been on that same number since January 2025. So that tells you everything you need to know about.
But like the people weren't expecting them to do all that well at the general election in 24, and yet
72 MPs.
They ate a lot of Tory votes. I actually think they're going to keep a lot of those Tory votes and could possibly get more.
I don't think Lib Dems are the type of seat that'll get lost to reform in the May elections either.
Yeah, exactly.
People in Lib Dem areas aren't going to switch to Reform generally. There might be some. I mean, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of changes, isn't there? But I don't think there'll be a big drift.
See, here it's rather Tory, right? And the difference down here is like you get the more liberal Tories, the more socially liberal Tories, and the more socially conservative Tories. Those, the socially conservative Tories, I can see trying to vote for reform, but the socially liberals, as I expected, vote for the Liberal Democrats. Like that, Kevin Foster, who was our Tory MP previously down here, ruined us. The Tory council kept ruining us. The English Riviera used to be a hotspot for tourism, right? For our students coming here, and this guy wanted to get rid of it all. Like he like just getting rid of the skate parks, getting rid of youth centres and whatnot.
Tories don't like joy being in society, do they?
The Liberal Democrat, however, that we've had since coming back, like she's wanting to bring back a lot of the stuff that Tories took away.
Yeah.
I just want to share. Sorry, thank you, Kirsty, for the. Sorry, I just wanted to share. Sorry, just one or two numbers just for reference for people because I don't want to leave out our Welsh and Scottish friends when it comes to voting numbers as well. Thank you, Kirsty, for the $4.99 super chat there. Appreciate it. So just for context, because I don't want to leave out Wales and Scotland respectfully here. This is the one I just found up here from YouGov. I haven't seen an updated one, so obviously this could change. This is January the 5th to the 12th, 2026 for the seed. Have I said it right? No, the Welsh elections.
The Senate.
Senate. Thank you. I'm terrible with names. Apologies to Welsh voters. I know I'm absolutely terrible. I need to get that word right. So at the moment, not at the moment, but this is what the last YouGov poll that I can see. There might be an updated one. Plaid Cymru sitting at 37 voting intention, with Reform at 23, Greens at 13, Conservatives 10, Labour 10, Lib Dems 5, others 2 for in Wales. Now, obviously, that's in January, so obviously a lot can change between now and then. And I actually think it's a lot more tighter than that. I don't think it's that clear cut for Plaid. I actually think it's a lot more tighter because I don't know why people are thinking of voting Reform in Wales, because honestly they can't control immigration, even though they keep getting told about immigration there. And then just before I let you guys back in, this is, again, I need an updated poll, so apologies to my Scottish viewers, but YouGov's Hollywood voting intention from the 8th to the 14th of January 2026. Very strong for the SNP, both constituency votes and regional vote lists there. So constituency votes, SNP sitting at 34, with Reform at 20, Labour 15, Greens 9, Conservatives 10, Lib Dems, Conservatives and Lib Dems sitting at 10. Alba aren't even rated. They're not even on they're literally there, but there's nothing on them. So that tells you everything you need to know about the Alba party. In terms of regional list votes there, 29 for the SNP, 20 for Reform, 15 for Labour, 12 for Greens, 11 for Conservatives, Lib Dems, 9. And again, just bear in mind, this is a January one, so it might have tweaked a little bit since then there. But I just wanted to share those contexts there.
I said when it comes to, I mean, the fact that for the Welsh and for the Welsh and the Scots, like it's of value because they've got elections coming up. But for English polls, only when they're linked to the locals right now do I think that they are salient. Like when people talk about like what if there was a general election tomorrow, I mean, yeah, that's a cool hypothetical, but it's not going to happen. To me it's a useless poll because it's not going to happen. Like there isn't going to be a snap election. So
people are getting
how would you say, asking how would you vote if there was a general election tomorrow is a bit useless because there isn't going to be one for another 2 fucking years.
Viper Scott, that's obviously a video, so I can't click that link now. But if you want to show me a different graph then from a different website, I'm more than happy to share that, share those numbers. But yeah, I can't open a video while I'm doing this live stream, otherwise it'll freeze out. There. Oh dear, what a shame. David Gibbs has just shared. Oh, Alba are out of business. Oh, oh, that's so terrible. Oh dear. Oh, you know, I did, yeah. Well, I will say this though. I don't, it's always sad when people lose their jobs. I will say that, but I don't really have a lot of sympathy for the Alba Party because they were trying to take a spot that didn't really work for them, is what I will say. Say there. I think there's still quite some. I think one of the biggest things with these elections is how much is the. I think the question is obviously the cost of living. Obviously, is going to play a part. The situation in Gaza is still going to play a part because people haven't forgotten about that.
No.
But how much of the conflict of this war in Iran is going to play a part? How much of that is going to factor in as well, I think, is going to be interesting there. James asked the right question. Who are Alba? They are nobody. Is the correct answer.
See, they annoy me because Alba is the proper name for Scotland, just like Cymru is the proper name for Wales. So, like, them calling themselves the Alba Party was, to me, a bit like, that's a fucking arrogant name. That's a bit arrogant, isn't it?
But I just think that I do wonder just how much. I mean, and obviously the other question as well with the run up to all these elections is the war still going to be going on before we get to these elections or after we get to these elections? How much of that is going to affect people's viewpoints? Because I really do think that's quite a significant factor in it too. Like, how much of a change in viewing in polling is that going to be? Because while a lot of us have got a kind of a lot of people will have their sights set on who they're going to be voting for. There's always going to be the maybes lots or the don't knows who are going to vote and they don't know what they're going to do yet. And there's a lot of people who, a lot of people who will literally
are politically
be in that booth and they will make that decision on the spot. So, and I think that's going to be an interesting one there as well. So, I do think, the Iran war definitely will play quite a factor into them all as well. But I will say this, obviously, if you guys want to add any more to the elections before we talk about Donald fucking Trump. I think I really do hope Plaid Cymru does well, as that polling was predicting. I really do, because like Labour have been there for a long time, and they do need a bit of a refresh. And I think it actually it will do Wales a bit of good to have a different political party in control, and it would just be new ideas, new voices to listen to and whatnot. Yes, reform will be a massive headache for them. I accept that, because they will have unfortunately some saying that. But I think for Plaid, I think it's so important for them to have a voice that actually is specifically for Wales, a party by Wales for Wales specifically there. I think that will play a part. It's not to say that Labour haven't done good things in Wales, because there's a reason why they've been in power there for a long time. I think that context really, really matters.
Yeah,
and finally, and
there's also a family connection thing there. Like you got to remember, Aneurin Bevan was Welsh. Like there's this, like that. There is an ideological bent when it comes to being for Labour within Wales, and I know that because I have friends and family that are in Wales, so I get told this. Now that's not uniform in the slightest, and has been waning a hell of a lot in the last few decades. But it does have to be said that, like, when there is a little bit of a hereditary thing, just like in the southeast when it comes to voting Tory, or even down here when it comes to voting Lib Dem or Tory. Like it's not an ideological thing. It's my parents voted for them, so I'm just going to vote for them.
And then just finally on Scotland, I will say, obviously, like I say, do check out the two Davies if you want a Scottish perspective, of course, as well, guys. Like, I really think that, the polling is indicating it. everything on the ground and what I'm hearing indicates that it's going to be majority SNP. But obviously, seeing a rise in numbers of Reform voters in Scotland is very concerning indeed. That is something the most important thing is obviously how they counter that misinformation from them. Like we're trying to counter the misinformation of Reform here in England, obviously, same in Wales for Reform. It's a big problem, but the party relies on one man, and that is Nigel Farage, and that's the thing. Yeah, if you damage him, you damage the party. So my hope is that they don't do too well, Reform. I really hope not.
The big problem sorry. Good.
And I hope that someone is just hold on a second, Jack. Oh, Darren.
Sorry.
Darren, how are you? Are you okay? Are you all right? Because everyone was concerned about you.
All right, yeah.
Oh yeah. I was the only thing I was gasping for breath because I just got off the exercise bike. Pedaling for all my life.
You could have done that while live. You could have done that here. You could have been doing it while listening.
You bobbing up and down.
Yeah.
Do you know what annoys me more than anything? It's like usually when you send me a link and whatnot, usually it's a case of it'll send a message. I've got a message on Twitter, not a sausage. The only time I realised when I looked at me, see what's happening on YouTube. I looked at Roundtable. What? 19. I thought you fucking idiot. Like I said, DB the complete Burke. Sorry, mate.
I concur. You are a right Burke.
Yeah. Well, no. The most like we said, like I was just saying, the most important thing is as long as you're okay. That's the most important thing, my friend, because that's what we were kind of worried about. It's like, is he okay? Like, because that's the most, because honestly, that was the main thing. But we were just literally wrapping up on the elections. Al Watson says, Darren, where the fuck have you been?
Believe me, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
He's been bobbing up and down like that. It really would have been interesting seeing him on camera. Just like,
yeah, my spandex and my headband.
To see the sweat dripping down your head.
Yes. Yes, that'll have been. I worked for 30 years for Bradford Council, and that's the hardest work I've ever done. 20 minutes on that bike. The first time that anybody ever saw any sweat on me.
Oh dear. Well, as long it's great to have you on, even if it's more than an hour late, my friend. So let's. We've kind of talked about the Iran war. We've talked about the elections and what's kind of happening here. Guys, I think Donald Trump, he talked a lot about Joe Biden being on cognitive decline, that, he's losing it a bit up here. When there was the run for the presidential election, maybe he's just not fit to do it anymore. I think it's coming back to haunt him, because I just feel like that cognitive decline he kept going on about, it's definitely happening to him. I mean, he called Gavin Newsom the president of the United States. I just heard today he insulted Japan at the White House meeting by bringing up Pearl Harbor. Yeah, that's a nice thing to bring up to Japanese, isn't it? From bringing up Pearl Harbor. What a great idea to bring up in front of the Japanese.
It's like that's like if Trump had PRYCE, if he just like randomly out of the blue just brings, or the Polish leader just randomly out of the blue brings up fucking Dachau or fucking or fucking Birkenau. Like, what the fuck?
Did you see the look on her face?
She wasn't impressed, was she?
She was not happy at all, was she?
Sanai Takaichi, she is odd. She's not. She's
quite right winged as well.
Yeah, she's like their version, like the Japanese version of Thatcher. I think, like, and she's got some really dodgy beliefs from what I gather as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I know very much about her, but when she won, I did have a little read just for a catch up, and I didn't like much of what I heard about her.
Yeah, going to the memorial that celebrates the war criminals from the Second World War, like. So, like, the fact that even she was disgusted by Trump just says everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard for, like, even what was it, yesterday or that was around St. Patrick's Day, around St. Patrick's Day when they had the Irish
the Taoiseach,
Taoiseach, thank you. And he was like trashing Keir Starmer, and then Taoiseach was like, actually, you know, he's a bit of a, you know, we actually have a good relationship with Keir Starmer. And it's like it's not the first time.
That's all I do. Just leave him alone, all right? That actually,
it's just like, oh
what
my
he
god,
said reminded me of my mum 2 weeks ago. My mum had a bit of a drink, right? She got a bit tipsy and came in to me going, "Why can't you lot just leave Starmer alone? He's doing the best he can." Well, I was really spun out. And then I heard the Taoiseach. And then I heard the Taoiseach, and I was like, is this a more common thought thread that I'm missing? That people are just like, just leave Starmer alone, he's doing the best he can? I was like, fucking hell.
How long has Trump got? How long has Trump got, guys?
How long is a piece of string?
Well, I just think he's done a deal with the devil, hasn't he?
Go on, Darren.
I think he's done a deal with the devil. He'll be there forever, you know.
Yeah.
he's
decomposing already, but he just hasn't died yet.
Yeah. I can imagine when I reach 70, Trump will still be there, you know. Done a deal with the devil.
Yeah, 16th term or something.
Yeah.
That's probably true. Yeah, Trump has done more damage to the economy than 9/11. I think it's...
Nice, yeah, absolutely.
And that counts in two ways as well, because we know the American police cost a lot for the American economy. So that comment counts on in two ways.
$94 a barrel currently, guys. $94 a barrel.
That's gone down again. Was it 95 earlier? It's gone back down again.
Well, it's going to jump up and down, to be fair.
Maybe the markets are rallying a little bit after hearing like the UK, France, and Canada and Japan and whatnot.
Yeah.
If Starmer's doing his best, you guys down the road are fucked.
I'm just saying, like, it was so weird because I've said many times Starmer. So Starmer has to go. Like, he's too politically poisonous. But like my mum comes in and she's like, just leave him alone. So, all right then.
Let's not forget the ballroom. Like, it's bad enough that he's ruining America, ruining the globe, killing Americans. He's also, just to add insult to the injury, he's damaging the White House building itself as well. The last
time that building sustained that much damage was when we fucking set fire to it in the War of 1812, 1814. Like,
wow.
Which is the reason why it's called the White House, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's not building a ballroom. I think there will be a horribly ostentatious, faking, horrible ballroom there eventually. But it's more than that, because I watched like a report about somebody who'd really looked into the financing behind it. And a lot of it's being done by like shell companies that have been set up just to make this adjustment to the White House. And then when you look a bit deeper, they're owned by defense companies that usually build like military structures and things. So I think there's probably work going on underneath the White House as well. Maybe he's going to retreat there when he loses the midterms.
He's not leaving, is he?
He's going to do a Hitler. But instead of Melania Trump instead of Melania, what you'll see is instead of Melania Trump doing an Eva Braun, she'll go, "No, fuck you," and go back to Slovenia.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I think the only reason she puts up with him is because of the money and the power. Like, that's got to be like what else is he? What else is he good for? Like,
she's no Eva Braun. She's not going to stay there to kill us. She's like, mate, you can kill yourself. I'm off.
Just hand him the gun and bugger off.
Yeah. Well, she's not there for his looks and charm, is she?
No, she looks disgusted.
To see the hats she keeps wearing, like she keeps wearing these low, wide-brimmed hats. Every time he goes to kiss her, he's got to do fucking that and he'd break his neck.
Anti-Trump hats. Anti-Trump hats.
I call it the hat of shame because it's you know in the Game of Thrones thing where she shouts shame. That's how she feels all the time, that she has to associate herself with him, and she keeps saying to herself in the back of her mind, money, power, money, power.
I think she's smarter than she looks. She's actually quite smart, I think, Melania, because like especially when it comes to getting revenge on her husband.
Yeah, maybe.
With her.
Well, she's so smart. How did her film do if she's so smart? Was it a major success?
It's a relative thing. It's a relative thing. I wasn't talking in absolute terms.
Yeah, okay.
Have you ever seen that video? There's a video you can find of Melania Trump where she gives a speech, but you can find it like a split screen with Michelle Obama as well. And the speech is identical. She literally just copied Michelle Obama's speech and used it again.
Wow.
Like 5.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's really easy to find.
I reckon she's constantly trolling her husband. I actually reckon that.
Just going through the motions, isn't she?
Yes. Wears them hats to protect herself from Trump's kissy lips.
And tiny hands.
You see him when he goes to kiss her. He's like that. He's breaking his neck trying to kiss her, and she's like
moving further away. Yeah.
Oh, that could be true, actually, David. That could be true. Yeah, Trump's Russian handler. Yeah, that's a strong possibility there. Yeah, that's a possibility there. You said too many super chats, David. That's why. That's probably why.
Oh no, it's not KGB anymore. It's the FSB, isn't it? I keep forgetting that.
It's not KGB FSB anymore. They changed it. Oh, they changed it, did they?
It was the KGB when they were Soviets, and now I don't know what it is fucking now.
Wow.
I know, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I have looked into that, yeah.
Last time I thought I saw it was the FSB, but
yeah, I think that might be it. But the scary people.
But Trump,
it's still.
The man.
I was just going to say, like, Trump is still really.
Excuse me.
Like, even though, like, there's independents are against the war, and there's still there's still a lot of Republican supporters are still backing this war, which.
That'll be Republican hawks. There are a lot of Republicans who, whilst they didn't really want to get into another war, they also hate Iran. Like they hated Iraq, they hate Afghanistan.
No, Israel told them to hate Iran, and that's why they hate Iran. Israel said,
"Yeah,
you need to hate Iran because we don't like Iran." Okay, I don't like Iran. Good. Now agree we go into war with Iran. Okay, we agree. Yeah. We should go to war with Iran.
Do remember though, like I said earlier, when it comes to Israel, there is an ideological thing when it comes with Netanyahu and his government, because they want to create a greater Israel. They want to expand the size of Israel by like fourfold.
Oh yeah.
So this is an imperialist venture. On Trump's side, this war is like, he thought he could get a win because of Venezuela, but at the same time, he was kind of caught by surprise by Israel. Like he didn't want to be shown up by Israel. Whereas for Israel, this is imperialism.
Mm.
Yeah. Do
you guys want to know how much money? Do you want to know how much money the Pentagon wants for funds for the Iran war? According to an Associated Press source, how much money, guys? How much money do you think the Pentagon is going to be looking for?
200 billion.
Oh, Graham, have you been looking at the same piece as mine? That's exactly the number. The Pentagon seeks $200 billion in additional funds for the Iran war, according to an AP source.
You wait. $200 billion.
200 billion. Not million.
They want 200 billion, but eventually it will get up to what I said, 2 trillion.
It won't surprise me. I think one thing it's already proven. One thing there's only one special relationship that America respect is that with Israel.
Yeah,
this nonsense of a special relationship with the UK. It's a fallacy.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Like the special relationship is with Israel.
Sorry, what were you saying, Graham?
I said I think the special relationship's been over for a long time. I mean, as much as I think Obama was a good president, he didn't particularly value Britain very much. You know, the first thing he did when he got into office was remove the bust of Winston Churchill and things like that. I think he only came here once, didn't he?
I
believe so.
I have my argument. I have my issues with Obama. I think he was a coward.
Well, I don't know enough about him to say that.
It was the whole thing with his red lines towards Russia. Like, this is my red line, and like they crossed his red line more than once, and he did fuck all. So, but like the Ukraine crisis right now, the Ukraine war is in part Obama's fault because he refused to do anything about Russia when they could have done.
So Pete Hegseth was asked about that money, by the way. Do you know what his response was? He says, it takes money to kill bad guys. We're going back to Congress and our folks are there to ensure that we're properly funded.
Oh, dear.
It doesn't help that fucking Chuck Schumer is all on board with this fucking Iran war.
Yeah. But they're also, you know, those Democrats are like, they're all in the AIPAC funded. And
they're all AIPAC funded
and whatnot. So they're like their argument is rather than attack Republicans on the war, it's more like you're supposed to have done it through Congress and done it through the legal channels and everything. That's the kind of argument, not the actual fact that they don't approve of the war. That it's kind of moving the goalpost on the topic.
What I thought was really interesting was that Trump was not actually on board with this for quite a while. From what I've been hearing, Lindsey Graham has been constantly in his ear. Like I think it was Lindsey Graham, the former head of the Republicans in the Senate.
Lindsey Graham has been in it every single day. Every single day he's been with Trump.
So Trump wasn't even originally for this. It's because Lindsey Graham has been in, and again, he's been doing that at the instigation of Mossad and Netanyahu. I don't want to come across as anti-Jewish, but I am anti-Israel.
I'm pretty sure it was in December or even earlier this year. He went to Israel and basically Netanyahu said, like, you've got to be on top of him, like pushing this and narrative and all this kind of stuff. And every single day, this is what people have been saying. He's been in his office every single day, you know, feeding him the narrative about Iran, you know, because he's got that access to Trump. Whereas other people don't always have that. So he's constantly feeding that narrative to him. Making whatever Israel are saying to Lindsey Graham, whatever they need to say for him to believe to stay in this war, to convince him that, even though other people around him are saying, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, Mr. President, like, and all those military generals who basically said, this is a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Yeah, we shouldn't be doing this. And he ignored all the experts. And they still went into the war.
Yeah. I think that this is one of the reasons why some of what Trump says is absolutely nonsense. I think he's a very dishonest man who knows he tells a lot of lies. But I also think sometimes he says ridiculous things that are completely untrue because somebody's told him that and he just believes them because he's got no real connection with the real world.
Yeah. Well, he watches Fox News a lot, doesn't he?
Does he watch as much Fox News? Because sometimes Fox News, like, I don't know if he watches Fox News Business because it's not very good for the economy. If he watches that.
I've heard him bitch about Fox. I've heard him bitch at Fox News reporters when they've been on the lane.
He has once or twice.
See, he's got a proper issue with CNN. Like, because I watched Vosh, he is like Trump has got a real big bee in his bonnet about CNN, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's because they're not owned by an Israeli, not yet, but they will be. by one of the. Soon they'll be because of the merger with Warner Brothers and Paramount. I think it is. Yeah, because
I don't know why Israel
the guy at
wants
the
to
top
create
is like
that.
linked to Israel. So
I don't know why Israel
CNN
wants to
will
create a greater Israel.
fall in line.
I don't know why I don't know why the Zionists want to create a greater Israel in the first place. They've already got the United States of Israel.
Yeah, but they don't want their own. They want their own superpower. Like they want the Middle East.
They have got their own superpower. They've got doing their bidding right now.
Yeah, but they want all the land. They want all the land around it. They want to create. They want to create. They want to be again. It is a bit of an anti-Semitic trope, but I mean, Pete Hegseth literally said he wants to be a part of the building of the third temple. Like he literally said this. So, like, I'm not an anti-Semite, but like I am definitely anti-Zionist. Oil could hit $200 a barrel. Analysis no longer think that this is a far-fetched possibility.
It wasn't anyway. It wasn't anyway. I do know that Labour, like it has been confirmed that Labour are looking at the best ways to because apparently it's more complicated than it seems to disconnect our prices from the price of gas and oil. But apparently Reeves is looking at the best ways to do that without causing additional damage to our economy.
Just want to the US did approve, never mind just the 200 billion, obviously they're trying to get to fund the war. They've approved a 16.5 billion arms deal to the Gulf states amid the rising Iran tensions there. The proposed deal includes sales of drones, missiles, and radars for the Gulf allies, including the UAE, Kuwait, and Jordan there. I mean, that's all well and good, but obviously their priority is Israel, and Israel first and foremost. Because when they started hitting the other Gulf states, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they start moving a lot of resources towards Israel because they wanted to make sure they were looked after, didn't they? And it kind of pissed off. I think Saudi Arabia got really mad or something as well because they pulled away from them, didn't they?
The Saudis are really pissed. They're pissed because it's interrupted their business. And Dubai, like, oh my God, Dubai is the people in Dubai that run Dubai are properly pissed because their whole reputation was that the whole thing, because they don't sell so much gas and oil, unlike their neighbors, they rely on tourism. They rely on like the reputation of safety because they don't have as much gas and oil to sell. So like they're pissed. They're pissed at Iran. They're pissed at Israel, and they're pissed at the US.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Just coming back to the UK a little bit just before we head out. So we were touching on the Conservatives earlier. You know how terrible Kemi Badenoch is. Well, don't worry, guys, because the Conservatives launched their election campaign today, and she said that the Tory leader said her party is the only one that can actually fix things. You guys, yeah, this is the same party.
Her party is the only one that can actually fix the things her party broke.
Yep, this is the. Don't worry, guys. The guys who the party that started the fires, the party that cut your libraries, cut your funding, that partied while people died during the pandemic. But don't worry, guys. If you put them back in power, they're gonna fix things, guys. They said this time we're gonna do it. This time we're gonna fix things.
It's more of the same bullshit, and it all comes down to this bullshit of social liberalism being blamed for the ills of right-wing economics. If you really want to boil it, like the state of our politics now can be boiled down to that one thing, if you really want to do it like that. Social liberalism is being blamed for the ills of right-wing economics. Even John Major, I heard these words come out of his mouth. He's a fucking former Tory Prime Minister, actually said that small government politics is a redundant idea. I heard him say those words. If an ex-Tory Prime Minister is willing to say that, then you just know how deluded the current Tories are.
Yeah.
I will just add this for those who weren't who didn't see yesterday's live stream as well. Poor Anasawa, he hasn't spoken to Keir Starmer since he told him it was time for him to step down, apparently. Which is, but every time I think of Anasawa now as the Scottish Labour leader, there's only one song that comes to my mind when I think of it, and that is Akon's track "Lonely." It's just he's a very, very lonely man right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the smart move for him to make, though. Like, if you think about it strategically, like that was the only move for him to make, for Anasawa to make.
Well, it's not really made a difference, respectfully.
No, but like there wasn't like if he would have made things worse for himself if he doubled down on support for Starmer. So whilst it's not improved things for him, it's not actually made things worse for him. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Darren, what do you? Because obviously you weren't here when we talked about things. I know we're over time, but I wanted to kind of get your take on some things. Like, how are you feeling about what's been happening in Iran right now? I mean, what you've been hearing and whatnot. Like how do you feel about it all? Because it's really, really, really bad for the world right now.
And it just, well, I remember, but it's just been a weird few weeks, hasn't it? Because like I remember I was getting myself ready, looking forward to listening to Nick Abbott on a Friday, playing my Football Manager game. I thought I'm looking forward to the jokes, and then next thing you know, he's gone to war, and then that's interesting. And then you see both Kamikaze Bad Enough and Nigel Fagash. Can't wait to get on his side. Say, yeah, go on. We need to get in there. And as things have gone on, you can definitely tell Keir Starmer's got it right on this one, aren't they? By the looks of it, he seems to have got it bang on the money, because you can tell, judging by the way he says one thing, then somebody else has to go out and basically, you're not wrong there, Dave McGuinness, but then somebody else has to go out there and say, no, it ain't that. Then you had little Marco goes out, and basically he basically said the quiet bit out loud. We only started the war because Israel was going to go in, So quite clearly that
Marco Rubio is the leak.
Yes. So basically that Trump is Bibi's bitch, isn't he, really? It's the only way you can basically say it. And I get the feeling that he only thought it'd be a couple of days, regime would collapse, and then it'd be able to claim a glorious win. See, I helped the Iranians, and I've stopped another war. And it's still going on, and it's just gone out of control now, hasn't it? That oil refinery, that looks like it just tells you everything you need. He's lost control because it seems to me that Trump just wanted a quick couple of bombings, regime change, happy talk for me. Whereas Bibi Netanyahu, he just wants to be in war mode constantly, because he knows while his government's in war mode, he keeps out of prison, doesn't he? Well, that's if he's still alive, judging by the rumors about the AI stuff. So, and that's what it basically is. And he's lost control, anti-Trump. He's totally and utterly lost control, and he's panicking. And he's panicking now because the midterms coming up. Gas prices are going up. Now he'll be able to control the MAGA base, won't he? Because I'm already hearing, that they're basically saying cross that line, Mr. Trump, you lose my vote. So he crosses it, goes into war. Oh, no worries. Just don't do it again. I can never fall out with you for too long, you know. And I was listening to people in Pennsylvania, somewhere like that, and you listen to a couple of Trumpers, you know, dead behind the eyes, you know. Oh yeah, he did right. Yeah, did right. Yeah, I'm quite happy to pay extra for my gas. And you just think, you can't help them people, you know. There's some people you just cannot reach. So I've just watched with fascination. You can see the panic in his eyes, and it's clearly what's happened here. The constant attacks on Keir Starmer, they've viewed him as a pantomime villain because it's not working out for him, and that getting no help in the Strait of Hormuz, either really, from what I'm hearing from other countries, and Starmer's a pantomime villain. Use an excuse for it's not working, because nobody's coming to his help to clean up the mess that he's made.
I mean, Trump's comment, like, Starmer's no Churchill. Good! Fucking good! I don't want Starmer to be Churchill!
No.
Oh dear, It was just
why would we want Starmer to be Churchill, for fuck's sake?
They got mad. Pete Hegseth and that's like, you guys need to. You guys are talking about all the bad stuff about this war. Why don't you talk about good things about the war? And I'm thinking, what? You're telling the media not to talk about don't talk about the soldiers dying. I'm like, are you fucking along those lines? If they didn't want to talk about the deaths of American soldiers, it's like, they're your own brothers and sisters, and you don't want the American media talking about the soldiers who are sacrificing this life.
The standout bit is for me is
this coming from the pieces of shit who came over to Europe for the Munich conference and told us and bitched at us about free speech.
Yeah. And this is, and I think the one standout bit was when you remember when some of the dead came back and you saw Trump wearing his merch for his photograph. That tells you everything you need to know about the man, doesn't it? Tells you everything you need to know. It's all about him. Nobody's more important than him.
Yep. So that's why if he doesn't want us talking about, the war, let's talk about him in the Epstein files then. Oh, you don't want to talk about that? Oh, well, we can talk about the 24 felony counts you got in there. Oh, you don't want to talk about that? Oh, we could talk about the I'm sure that the tax evasion that you got there, all about the casinos that you couldn't make a profit out of as well. You know, there's plenty of things.
Poisoning of the land from your properties.
Yeah. Going on and on and on.
I understand. No one. I wanted to bring this up last week, but there is a lot of quiet. Trump has actually been done several times on environmental counts, and no one talks about it.
Well, guys, I did go a bit. Sorry, I did. Sorry, Graham, did you want the last word before we wrap up?
That's all right, I'm fine. Thanks, Rob.
Are you sure? Okay. All right, guys, because we've gone over time anyway. But I wanted to give Darren at least a couple of words in there, obviously, because he missed. He had a very important exercise to do, guys. It was very, very important. You know, it's actual, to be actual fair to him. It gears him up for Friday Frolics tomorrow. That's the actual reason. It gets him all pumped up for Friday Frolics. So he's just getting his training. Yeah, the juice. He's getting it in. Yeah, and he'll probably do a bit more tomorrow, but before Friday Frolics. Yeah, so be ready to take on the world, guys. So
I fully expect you to do the exact same tomorrow, Reagan. Just turn up an hour late.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see you at 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Friday Frolics. But as for the rest of you in the chat, you need to be there at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
I'll
guys, head off to the naughty step.
Yes, you can. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along to tonight. Thank you to everyone who gave super chats. I'm sorry if I didn't get to. I'm sorry if I missed any of your super chats. I do apologize, but I did want to at least make sure I acknowledge them there. I just want to say thank you, James. We didn't really touch on your super chat that you mentioned earlier about you said your my biggest concern with reform gaining power, how will affect our relationship with the EU. A bridge burnt once can be rebuilt, but twice. And I think we all agree with that is definitely going to be a problem if reform do come back in there for sure. Of course, as the last super chat of the show says, that Anis is a real arse. Which I think we can all agree with that from Dave McGuinness there for sure. So guys, make sure you do check out Friday Frolics tomorrow with Daily Blase tomorrow at 5 o'clock, guys. If you have, please do. It's absolutely great and wonderful show. And please subscribe to his YouTube channel. He does not just that live stream, but he does great videos as well. Really do highly recommend as well. Of course, do check out GRAEMEPRYCE's Power to the People's YouTube channel. Link is in the description. I'm sure someone has been putting up links in the chat for all the wonderful YouTubers here. 5 reasons why Kemi Baganotte is a twat. 5 reasons why Richard Tice is a twat. 5,000 reasons why Tommy Robinson is the biggest fucking idiot on God's green earth, and many, many more videos like that. And many, many more amazing videos like that. But it's not just why 5 reasons. There are other great videos as well. There's other great videos as well from GRAEMEPRYCE. I do highly recommend.
Those are the things I ever swear about as well.
Yeah, indeed there. And of course, do check out our friend 100 Pagan as well. Very regular appearances on the show here, pretty much every month as well. So it was good to get Pagan on here, because I know we always talk about eco and all that kind of stuff, but I know he's been waiting to talk about other things besides other things as well. So it was good to have you on here as well. Thank you, Viper Scott, for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm not going to name all the names there, but appreciate that late gifts of memberships there, Viper Scott. Really appreciate it. Just before I go, guys, before I end the stream, I'll be back live tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And the next roundtable, and I will message Dave McGuinness this as well, will be on Thursday, the 23rd of April. So, Darren, I expect you to be an hour late for that one as well.
What day is it again? Because I will put it in my day.
I will message you on Twitter. Don't worry. It will be Thursday, the 23rd of April. Okay, but I will message.
Right?
Yeah, I will message you it. I will message you.
I will put it in my date. I'll put it in my date. Yeah. So when it comes to it, it will blare out off my phone and everything. You know, about 6 o'clock in the morning. So
you set the alarm system so it starts with your fucking surround sound speakers.
Yeah, I can just say about 6 o'clock in the morning. It'll all be peaceful. The whole house lights will go woo 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 woo. Wife will show. What? We're being burgled? No, just set the alarm.
My alarm is my missus absolutely hates my alarm. It's a barking dog, and it's so annoying. And the best part is it scares the cat. It scares Dolly when Dolly sometimes sleeping in our bedroom. So when it goes, it just makes it.
Hey, look, just feel thankful it's not an actual dog, because like when the Muppet comes in and jumps on me, that's completely different.
I have to wait here.
Guys, thank you guys. Yeah. Yes, thank you to all my guests as well for coming on tonight as well. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys all for watching as well. And we will be back once again with another show. We'll catch you all very, very soon. I don't want to play that outro. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.